everybody. Welcome to Day 4 Breakfast with Bob from 70.3 World Championships in beautiful Taupo. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, Master Spas, SFuels, Right Fuel, Right Time, Deboer Wetsuits, Quintana, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Right now he sits third in the Ironman Point Series. Kristian Høgenhaug joins us. Third place is like $85,000. That's a pretty cool payday at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would have sold it for that at the start of the season, definitely.
Yes.
When you looked at the people who said they were gonna chase the series, and but it's just worked out differently. That you have to be very, very consistent over the entire year, and with doing a lot of full Ironmans, that's apparently very hard.
Now, was this the first time you've done 3 in a year?
No, I've done.
You've
5
done
or 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've done 5 or 6.
I've done a lot of. I've done quite a lot more full distances than halves.
Yes.
So every time I do a half, it's like I feel a bit like a rookie.
How many total Ironmans have you done in your career?
I have no idea, but I think way over. I think over 30. I think I did like almost. Yeah, between 4 and 5
a year
every season. Yeah, and no halves. Yeah,
no halves. Those are mainly just focused on the fulls.
Yeah, I think I've done maybe 5 halves or.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so this year, when you add in things like Challenge Championship and 70.3 Mallorca, those seem short to you.
Yeah, definitely. But that's also how we like kind of decided to build up the season, get in a lot of speed, and that worked out pretty well.
Yes.
And I mean, it's still like a 4-hour competition, but so when people talk about speed and a half, I'm a little more. But it's definitely something else than a full, right?
Yes.
So, but that's what make this like. I think in a way I'm more suited to the full.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes me quite a while to get in a good like 70.3 shape.
Right.
And that's been quite tough after Hawaii.
Well, yeah. So you do Hawaii, and then after when you get 9th in Hawaii, which is awesome. And then you go in Western Australia, which is a couple weeks ago, 70.3 at Western Australia, and you get 8th there.
Yeah, it was. I actually had decided not to go.
Yes.
But then another athlete, Maya Stage, texted me that if I was thinking about going, and then I thought, okay, if she's going, it's good with some company, and it's on the way over here.
I was going to say it's on the way, and that way you get on the time zone. And
it could take up some of the stress that if I just raced there, I would kind of log in 4th position in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to take the few points here to kind of secure 3rd
or 4th.
Yeah,
so at this point, Matthew Marquardt sort of in the driver's seat a little bit because this is his 5th race of his second 70.3, so he can get the most points.
Yeah.
Of anybody who's left in here.
Yeah.
And Patrick Lange is not racing. Matt Hansen feels like, hey, think I'm going to get 5th. He's feeling like, okay, I can get 5th place. But again, it's racing. You never know what's going to happen.
No. But I think Matt Hansen has he has to win to overtake me.
Right.
And
win the race overall.
Yeah. Okay. So probably won't happen, but
you never know.
You never know.
I've seen that guy. It's so funny because he went to Kona and he came off the bike in 20th and ran his way to 10th.
Yeah.
Then had surgery, right? And then he's here just a couple of weeks after a month or so after surgery.
Yeah,
and so
crazy.
And he feels like, I recovered pretty quick. I think I'm ready.
He must be chasing something.
He's chasing something. It's called money. Those are some really good dollars. So looking back at all the different Ironmans, when did you realize that the longer it is, the better it is for me?
Since I got into the sport a little later and with no like real elite sports background, I think like when I started doing the sport, it was kind of I always loved to train.
Right.
So maybe that showed a little bit in the longer distances because I was just swimming too slow and running too slow to be a factor in a half Ironman.
Right.
So yeah, that's just made like the long distance is also like there's just some other factors involved there.
It's nutrition, it's patience, because there's always parts of the race that are down a little bit.
Exactly.
You have to be able to get through those.
Yeah. And like if you have a big motor and can keep going for like maybe a slower pace for a longer time,
Yes.
you can be in the mix, maybe not win, but you could definitely be in the mix. So that's just where I started my journey. And then I just kind of stayed there because I thought half Ironmans wouldn't be a thing for me.
Right.
So when we decided to focus on halves for the first season here, it was kind of a surprise. Like I got like second in Challenge Gran Canaria.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I think
and then fifth in Mallorca.
Fifth in Mallorca with a crash on the bike where I definitely lost like 1.5 minutes, and so I could have been quite close to the podium there. And then a third in the championships,
Challenge Championships in Samorin,
Kyle Smith and Frederick Funk. So like that was kind of an eye opener for me that my swim level and run level might have caught up a little bit with what I thought. Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the Ironman World Series, you probably wouldn't have done those shorter distance races.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But it was also because I was actually going to do Ironman Texas.
Right.
But with the Pro Series being how it is, it was so popular that it got filled up like 3 weeks in advance or 4 weeks. So that's when we decided to pivot and focus on the halves and then the full in the last end of the season.
And that worked out well. And it's like you do some halves early in the season, get your speed, and then you roll right into Vitoria and get fifth there and fourth in Frankfurt and ninth in Kona. And then you do another 70.3 sort of as a warm-up for this, get your speed back a little bit.
Yeah, or at least we tried. It was like tough turnaround after Hawaii. I felt incredible 2 weeks after Hawaii.
You did?
Yeah, and I thought, okay, this is going to be crazy because I was just pushing some numbers on the bike and running some intervals. Like I was like, this can't be real. Yeah. And then I think reality kind of hit a week after. So I got some tooth pain, and then I couldn't really train, and then I got over that. Then I got a little bit sick, so I kind of lost the training mojo there for a few weeks, and then traveled to Australia and all the traveling and stuff like that. So I didn't feel like this feeling like when you don't feel like comfortable in your own body.
Right.
Like it's okay when you walk around, but then when you try and go out to maybe run a little bit hard. Maybe the first interval feels good, but then the second you kind of start to
why
fade.
am I even here?
Yeah. So that's how I felt in the lead up to Australia.
Yes.
And also the recovery after that was like normally I need 2 or 3 days after a half, and this was at least 7 days before I started feeling fresh again. But the last few days has been good.
Yeah. And what do you like this course?
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I think the first 40 minutes is gonna be spectacular because
really,
I think like we have the swim exit
comes out right here.
Yeah, it's like I think I'm gonna hit a new heart rate max coming up of the ramp.
We walked down there this morning, and we're like, that's pretty steep coming out of there.
It's crazy.
And then you're running up the ramp.
Yeah, you know how normally it is going from like
your horizontal
to vertical.
Yeah, vertical.
Your heart rate just spikes. And then running up that, and it's still a little, when you get off the ramp, it's still a little while to get to the transition rack. It's probably at least a half mile from the swim exit to the transition. Yeah, and I think all the short course athletes are going to make sure that we are going to drill it through the transition. So
yeah, Hayden and Leo and those guys are going to be flying.
Yeah, I think so.
Trying to get as much of a gap as possible. But what's interesting is with the climbing early on the bike, you're going to see some transition or some change of positions where the swimmers who are not great early out on the bike, when you guys come up, there's going to be some change of position right away.
Yeah, because it's not flat coming out of town.
No.
It's not steep, but it's maybe 1 or 2%.
But for a while.
For quite a while, and then it's rolling, and then there comes these like 4-minute climb. I think the first one with if you really put the hammer down, and then a short descent, and then a 1-minute kick.
Yes.
And then
very fun.
and that's gonna kill a lot of people, I think. Yeah.
That is so cool. What was your takeaway from Kona this year? Because I look at your, 48-minute swim, 4:03 bike. Usually, if somebody's doing that, they're basically leading. Back in the day, you're sort of leading the race. Now it's, you're sort of right there in the mix. 2:57, potentially you would have been back in the day. You'd been, potentially on the podium with that. But, this now, with how fast people are going, everybody's running in the high 230s, low 240s. It's a different game.
It's crazy. And you have to be like with the swim, like
right
close
there
to the front pack, right? That was like, I think I was 1 minute off there. And
if you were 1 minute off and you swam 48.
Yeah. But the run wasn't the prettiest, but that's actually, if you look at the race, it was like, I hope this race will be kind of the same, where people get off the bike and they just smashed, like, so it also becomes like a really like a mental battle.
Yes.
And you really have to like grind it through. I think everyone ran quite slow except for Patrick. Patrick
had like 5-6 minutes on everybody else.
He had a crazy day. But everyone, if you take him out of the equation, everyone ran like really slow. Yeah. And I think like just me to be able to get into top 10 with a 2:57.
Yeah.
Which for me is also really slow.
Really slow.
But I couldn't I couldn't any faster on the day with how things worked out. But that's like, it's like when in cycling people are starting to attack like from with 130k to the finish line.
Yes.
That's, I think, long courses and middle distance is starting to become a little bit like that. That people don't wait to really put the attacks on the run. Early. They start quite early.
Yes.
So when people like go on the run, they can't run like
they
65 minutes or whatever people are proclaiming. But I don't know.
I think it's going to be interesting because of that chip and seal type of road. I think that's going to be fairly frustrating for people and will take a lot out of their legs.
Yeah.
So
sure.
You're going to see some people blowing up early in that run, I think.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a spectacular race to watch. I'm also really looking forward to see, like, the women are racing a day before us.
Yes,
so
you
we
get
can
to watch.
Yeah.
Get a sense for them because, with Taylor and with Julie Duron from the Olympic silver medal. It's a really fun
racing
mix of people.
Yeah.
And same for you guys.
Yeah,
you got the silver and bronze medalists from the Olympics.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Plus, it's going to be really, really fun. In a perfect venue.
Perfect venue.
Have you raced a lot here in New Zealand?
It's the first time in this side of the world, in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, but the vibe is like, I really liked it in Australia.
Yes,
with just like really laid back, and when you talk to people, they're like, oh, yeah, we get up at like 5 in the morning and go for a run, and it's like people are so active.
Yes.
And also the same here. People are really friendly.
I know. Yeah. Oh, they're so nice. Yeah. This is here we're sitting, we got a snow peak behind us, right?
It's hard not to just so to be relaxed. And
Now, will you stay after the race and get to spend some time in New Zealand?
Yeah, I will stay for 1 week after and go to the south.
Yes.
I'm here with my girlfriend and parents. And we have also been tried here in the lead up to go out and see some stuff.
Yes.
Also, I kind of felt I needed a little break, or like so it wasn't all about because I know I'm not gonna be a factor for the podium or anything like that. To be honest, I'm solely here to like kind of get the last points for the series.
Right.
And of course I wanted to do my best performance, but I also felt like in order to do that I had to think of something else.
Right.
So we've been out and seeing different stuff on the North Island, and still been doing the training I needed to.
Seen some waterfalls and done some hiking. And
yeah. We did a long hike 2 days ago, which maybe was a little bit too long because I'm sore in my legs. But and what's unfair about that is, like, I'm the elite athlete in the family.
Yeah.
But I was literally the only one who was sore in my legs.
Everybody else was fine.
Yeah. Well,
they didn't do a 70.3 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
That's probably it. But So, we're gonna go all in after the race, and now these last few days is all about the race on Sunday.
Exactly. Well, what's cool is with the amount of racing that you do with all the different Ironmans, if you didn't enjoy the places you're going, why do it? I mean, it's like you're a young man who gets to travel the world and go to beautiful places like this. Yeah, you're here to race, but at the same time, you don't want to sit in your hotel room and be, legs up watching television when you can be enjoying the spectacular being in a Taupo.
Exactly, and also just for the longevity of being in the sport at the top level, I think you have to, like we just talked about before going on air, that the season maybe start in March next year. And you also need some off season, right? So you need a good build up to do a full in March. So
it's easy to burn out in this sport. I mean, you think about how it can be very selfish and just sitting in the saddle for hours and hours doing the indoor training. And now, will you spend most of your time in? Where will you spend your time during the off season?
I think a couple of weeks in Denmark.
Yes,
and. Then I'm off to a camp in January.
Yes, I was talking to one of the women from Denmark who was talking about a camp that you guys are going to be doing. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah,
and it's the first time it's just long distance athletes, right?
Yeah. Kind of switched their focus from short to long distance
because they didn't do very well in the Olympics.
No, that's sadly. But
they're like, and this is our future is long distance.
Yeah,
athletes.
And long distance in Denmark is crazy at the moment.
So crazy. People talk. We were talking. It's like people talk Norway. All you guys between you and Magnus and Daniel. I mean, there's so many great Danish athletes.
Yeah, we are quite a small country, so it's I don't know how that really came about, but
now can you all be friends and train together and then still go do your own thing?
Yeah, especially with now we have the long distance camp in January, and
everybody's going.
Or at least a lot of the people are going.
Yes,
and I really enjoy that, and because it's nice to catch up with people. We live kind of in different parts of Denmark, most of us, but there's always a good vibe, and I think if you can train together, that's also a good sign that
everybody gets better.
Yeah,
steel sharpens steel when you're able to work together. Because back in the early days of the sport, when you had names you probably never heard of, but Scott Molina, Mark Allen, and Scott Tinley, those guys trained together and basically built a 3% difference between themselves and everybody else chasing.
Yeah,
because they pushed each other, and by doing that, they pushed themselves away from everybody else.
Yeah,
and you guys are in the same position with your with the depth from Denmark.
Yeah, there's
crazy.
Yeah. There's always someone who's better at swimming, biking, or running.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. Good luck, man. I'd love to see you come home with $85,000. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be really nice.
And it goes 85, and even fourth place is what, 70?
Yeah. So it's still a kind of a big difference. I need to finish within 11 minutes of the eventual winner. So
and would that secure you third?
That would secure me third. Yeah.
85,000. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. Good for you.
Thank you.
Would that be your biggest payday?
Yeah, for sure. By quite a lot.
By quite a lot.
Yeah.
And that's not including the different prize money for those races.
Yeah,
all those races you did. Yeah, it's separate as well.
So that's really, it's also gives a little bit of calmness for next season, and
exactly.
A buffer or something.
Yeah, and buy some Christmas presents.
Yeah. She'll love that.
Love that. Kristian Høgenhaug has been our guest. Everybody, again, it's day 4, Breakfast with Bob from the 70.3 World Championships here in beautiful Taupo. Hold on. We'll be right back.